So here we are, day 21 of the 21-day solstice detox. So from December 1, we worked through week 1 was all about the shaking up, and really starting to decode some of these patterns, habitual patterns, and some of these conversations and these thought processes and this environment. So we looked at Marie Kondo cleansing methods around, does it bring me joy? And does this fabric feel good to me? And, am I just keeping that chair because one day I'm going to need it? Or, it's really about cleansing the environment and shaking things up a little. And then in week 2, we moved into the contemplation. It was really important that we just didn't fill the void where we cleared everything out and just didn't refill it with food and furniture and new clothes and things like that. We actually sat with it. And that's been, in my experience, the hardest thing that I've had to work through in my ascension is the void, and sitting with my own thoughts and my own beliefs and my own reality. That's been an interesting time for me when, I could ring people and go out for dinner, or I could do this, or I could do that, or I could keep myself busy. And so that's been my awakening. And so I've only just really awakened probably in the last 8 months. So I've been spiritually connected and attuning that over the years. But the awakening really was when I first found out about adrenochrome, which I knew about, but I didn't really understand why people were getting so worked up. And people would send me videos and things like that. And I was just like, oh, it's just too much. It feels heavy. It feels dramatic. I know that there's been some crime in the world, and I've been fighting with it most of my life. I've run away from doctors. I've had swine flu, I've had dengue, I've had some real sort of what I call the ding dong moments, and I've been divorced, and I've lost properties, and I've lost $1 million, and all those kinds of things. So I've had an interesting life of fighting the system and being taken down and then coming up and then taken down again. And I've been told I'm not abundant. I've been told so many different things. I've had businesses that have failed, and so like many of you, and so it's really about that discernment. And so I'm going to share with you some truths of things that I've learned. And I've gone to record this a few times, and I've wanted to share this stuff so many times, and it's been really difficult for me to share. When I found out about adrenochrome, I did my research. And so I want people to really think about this. So we're in week 3, and we're coming to the end, and we've got, a lot of light workers around us, and it's all about the meditation. It's all about Uluru, and some say it's the solar plexus, some say it's the heart center. It's like whatever's true for you. And it's like, what is this moment? And I feel like we're all ready to move forward. And this week is about the dance, the grace, the movement, the fluidity. And it's I feel like this video is really about I'm really sensing a really great divide. And it's like, okay, so if you're spiritually attuned, now's the time. Now's the time. And what that means is that you've taken all the time to heal, and now it's the time to wake up to how much and how deep and how intertwined and intertangled the crime has been. And so when you watch the news, it's all code to just wake people up slowly. And I have to say, I'm so surprised that people still don't know a lot of what's going on. I really thought a lot of the spiritual people around me would have awakened to some of this stuff. I think McDonald's, they're not closing down because of COVID. They're closing down because they have reportedly been dishing us up human meat. And that was really hard for me to absorb that. So I had to go and do my own research. And so I don't know if it's every McDonald's, but I have to say that in my world of Age of Aquarius, there'll be no McDonald's. And that's huge, right? Because it's like McDonald's, I can see a golden arch from my view here. And so it's been part of our upbringing, it's always been there. And so big banks, like if you're in Australia, big banks like Westpac have been criminally awarded massive fines. And I don't even think fines would even do this justice. As far as I'm aware, all these everything should be shut down, if you knew the depth. And so Westpac, just to give you a little snapshot, is they were in breach of 32 million misdemeanors, major crime, that was funding sex trafficking, slavery, drug laundering, money laundering, oh gosh, everything. And interesting enough, they seem to be the only bank that's been, the information's been leaked, but even then, not everyone knows about this, which blows my mind. What's going on with the Biden-Trump elections is true. Everything's been rigged. It's all part of the plan. It's all to waken you up slowly. People are just getting so frustrated now that it is wakening people up to go, well, what's really going on? And this whole concept around needing meat, so that in the age of Aquarius moving forward, meat from killing our animals will just not be part of our way of life. And you can fight that, and you can just send that. Many people say, oh, but like I need it and it grounds me and all that kind of thing. It's just not the energy. We're not going to own pets and then eat animals and torture them. And so, you know, it's a huge change. I get this for the dairy industry. It's been in families for generations, but it will be about how do we do things differently? And there'll be enough money to fund. So all these people are worried financially, that there's nothing to worry about because all the money is coming back to the people, because all these crimes against humanity, the money and the possessions have been seized from Hollywood, from all the stars, from the gold that's been stashed, from the royals, like everything has all been done, and it's all part of the plan. What you're seeing on the news in the big cases of COVID and all this kind of stuff is all manufactured news to start to get people to slowly wake up and just get so frustrated that enough is enough. Now, when they close borders and want people home and they don't want them to travel, I don't know if it's because there's some final work to do or whether it's to wake people up, to get them to be so frustrated, but all I know is all part of the plan. Now, is COVID a real experience? Yes, it is. If you were to get COVID, is it manufactured? Yes. I got swine flu, so I know that experience is very real. You know, you get very sick. My immune system was compromised through pharmaceuticals as a kid, through meat, through all the crap that they inject into it to make it look decent. And it's like, you know, I've had a lot of dissonance because it's like, well, why would they sell us food that was actually unhealthy? Like, why would the health food manufacturers, why would they label something organic when it's not? Like, well, they do. And it's all been part of a money-making scam. And it's not to say that all business people are there. This is the big conglomerates. It's about the Amazons, and start to ask, like, why won't you support Amazon? Well, because they were, you know, part of the whole sex trafficking crime scene, and you know, the company should be shut down. Like, and it's very difficult for me to watch business owners and people announce their books and launching number one when we know that it's not because you've sold so many copies and you've got your message to the world. It's because you listed it for 99 cents and everyone bought one, or you bought them and then it jumped to the top, and you're manipulating the system. And, you know, I get it. It's really important to get your written message out there, but with alignment and with congruency. And so Age of Aquarius is about, like, I'm just not tolerating this anymore around this. Oh, I need this. I need to have this in my life. I can't survive without it. Like, it's just time to wake up to what's actually going on. And if you don't have children and your family's safe and you know, it doesn't affect you, then it's not right to close your mind to what's going on. Now, all the stuff you see on the news, all the activism and all that kind of craziness is, well, it is craziness, and it's all fake. And so if you open your eyes enough and watch all the news and watch Twitter and watch the hashtags, and you'll realize that we've just been targeted. We've just been going through the motions. We've just been accepting for what is. We drive the traffic. We drive the distribution of books. We don't need Amazon. We drive the biggest and the best. As the people, Age of Aquarius, it is collective wealth. It is collective living. It's not hippie living, it's collective luxe living. So whatever you want is available to you. So if you want a veggie garden, if you want to live off the grid, if you want solar, it's all available to you. And imagine this, that everybody has a home, and there's no mortgages. Everybody has enough money to buy their home. Imagine if we didn't have to physically have jobs. Everything's changing. You don't physically have to have a job now. You imagine if you just get paid for your gifts. You get paid to share information if you're meant to be a teacher or educator. You get paid to bring people together in retreat format and to heal them. You get paid to just be you. And there's no poverty in the Age of Aquarius. It's we're all helping each other. Now, what I hear is that not everyone wants everyone around them. And I've wanted to isolate and wanted to not go out and not be around lots of people. So I get why people are like, no, I just need to look after me and my family. And as long as we're safe, then that's all that matters. And I know that that's not true, because I know you have a good heart, but I also know that that's not going to serve us in the Age of Aquarius, that mindset of as long as we're good and we're safe, then the whole world is I'm just going to be able to breeze through. Well, no, you're not. And so this message is really around spiritually attuned people. Wake up to what's going on and start serving on mission. Start doing your work in the world. Start discerning like all this stuff that's going on and help us wake people up, because we want Age of Aquarius. We do not want the life that's been in the past. We all desire this new way of being. Where there's no addiction. So all this, it takes 21 days to lose a habit. You've got to go into rehab. This craziness of homelessness, this craziness of mental health. Once we seize all the assets from all these people that are committing this crime against humanity, once we clear all this up, all the money's coming back. And so, there should be no addiction. We should be in the best health of our lives. And so there should be no heart disease, none of this crap, no pharmaceuticals, just we have the ability to heal ourselves. And so irrespective of how you feel about the elections, the truth is that Biden is a clone, and it. Like when you watch stuff on the news, you're like, something's not quite right, but I don't know what it is. And the way that Trump has been presented is like he's an idiot. But the truth is he's been coding. So all the people that are awake are watching his codes, watching him spell things incorrectly, just following the plan, and we're just loving the journey. And it's like, I want everyone to be with me on this and know that, like having conversations about money or about, I don't know, like just debt, and it just doesn't need to be here anymore. And it's like, we don't need to have addictions anymore. We don't need to be spending our everything that we're earning on, like our cigarettes and our alcohol and all this kind of stuff. Like it just doesn't belong. And I do have a big list of all these things I was going to share. And it's really hard to share some of this stuff. And so I guess I'm just going to open it up to questions. And so because I'm recording this, anyone who catches this and you want to know what's really going on with COVID, with the lockdowns, with governments, with McDonald's, with adrenochrome, with Hollywood, gosh, what else? It's like just goes on and on. Different countries. So it's interesting where the lockdowns are. It's all to do with underground networks. It's all to do with child trafficking. It's all to do with slavery. There's talk that some of these generations have been born underground for 4 or 5 generations. And so I'm just going to throw it out there. So the ships that were offshore, some of the debacle that we saw on the news offshore in Sydney with some of the cruise liners, all part of the plan. And I just invite people to ask more questions about what that was really about. And nothing on the news is real. And I have to say, like, even like shows like the Project in Australia, which is news delivered differently, I watched it because I thought that they were intelligent. And now when I watch stuff, I just like, wow, they're just so asleep. And they're actually like, they're just losing respect, because it's like, you know, like, it's good for a journalist to speak up. It's good to speak your truth. And it's not to be controversial. It's just to go, well, this has happened and this is happening. Something's not quite right here. Let's investigate this a bit further. It's, yeah. If I was a journalist, this is your time. Like, this is the most extraordinary time for journalism. I'm trying to find my notes here, but I can't really, I think I screwed them up, because it's like, oh, how do I share this information so much? And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I have recorded some others that I deleted because I was starting to get really deep with some of the crime, some of the sharing names, dropping names of Hollywood, you know, people that we quote, you know, entrepreneurs have been quoting their aspirational images, everything. Hollywood, are their children really theirs? Have all those babies died? We're really in an extraordinary time. And so what's really great is that we're all awakening to the truth. Everything's been cleared out, but it's not a time to just put the blinkers on. It's you're either jumping on the ascension train, or you're being spiritually awakened, but not awake is not going to be a good time. It's not going to be a good time for you, because all the abundance is available to those who have accepted their role and stepped forward to the responsibilities of looking after each other. There's too much of a divide right now. So I've been attacked a few times on Facebook. I've been told I'm too woo-woo because I you know, shared with someone that it's ascension symptoms, and, you know, this could help, frequency therapy could help. And, you know, people are like, oh, come on, you've got to get to the doctor. And it's like, do you really have to get to the doctor? Because I've been going to the doctor all my life and it hasn't really served me. So yeah, and it didn't serve me in swine flu, that's for sure. So frequency therapy has been my go-to. And so all the health technologies and, I mean, Wi-Fi will be free. What do you think all the satellite systems are all about? It's like everything, quantum financial system. I haven't even gone there. But yeah, it's a really exciting time for anyone who has student debt, who didn't really get much out of the education at university, who's stressing about getting a job. It's a really exciting time. And so this is what the whole meditation is about. This is what the Age of Aquarius is about. This is what December 21 is about. There's a lot of, I think they're rumors because I haven't validated the truth, but there's a lot of talk about what's been going on underground in Australia, what's been going on underground in Antarctica, New Zealand, different parts of Europe. It's all related to the COVID hotspots. It's all part of the plan. If we've been told to not travel, don't travel. Take this time and just accept what is. And all the protesting and all that stuff on the news, none of it's true. Rather than not watch it with open-mindedness and then do your research. So for example, on Twitter, if someone's trending, I'll be like, wow, that's interesting. So I'll dive deeper, because knowing what I know about what's going on in Hollywood, about all these stars suddenly dying, all these musicians suddenly dying, I'm like, really? Are they involved? And I'll go and research it. And of course they've been involved in some heavy crime. And so testing positive for COVID, testing negative for COVID is all code. And it actually gets really fun when you get to decode some of this stuff, and just question it and discern it. And if things don't feel right, it's because they're not. And it's not scary. It's not scary being open to this stuff. It's you have a bit of dissonance for about a day or so, and any time I think about McDonald's, I do, my visions do go there. And at night, I think for those who are fairly spiritually in tune, it's you do need to ask for protection and just ask not to see the gore and the crime. Some of this stuff, what's coming out, like it's unbelievable. The depth of crime, the depth of torture, the depth of slavery, the depth of suppression is mind-blowing. Like, how are we going to be, I'm just excited to see how this is going to unfold, especially with the royal family. I haven't seen the Queen for a while, and I have to say, you know, coming from Scotland, I was I guess, you know, England and Scotland has a real identity around the royals, around the Queen going to Balmoral, and yeah. So I mean, I'm certainly not the person to talk about it because I don't have the intel, but it's some of the stuff that I know that's about to come out is really interesting, and it's exciting. And when people say grab the popcorn, it's a movie. It is a movie, and it's you have a choice. To be spiritually tuned, know that something's going on, but not be part of it and not be part of this great awakening. That would be absolutely devastating. If you get to be part of this awakening and you start to open to the truths and just, you know, you're ready to handle them, talk to friends, you know, ask for it in digestible bits, and then just ask questions, then we get to rock and roll. Like we get to go to a beautiful place. And yeah, if you are connecting with, if you connect with starseeds and things like that, like I connect deeply with Lemuria. Actually, I might share this, what I know about the characteristics, and this is just my truth. So Lemuria is the soft hearts, is the, you know, who connect with this energy of Lemuria is, yeah, they're really gentle, sensitive hearts, and they've been the ones that have been heartbroken. Relationships haven't really gone right. They've kind of set up home, but it's kind of all come unstuck because it's not been Lemuria. In Lemuria, the world is of these beautiful pinks and blues and colorful birds, and it really is like what we see in the cartoons and the movies, and kind of likened to Avatar. But on an energetic level, it's more pinks and blues and sort of sunsets and sunrises and the elements like that. This is my interpretation, right? This is energetically how I feel about Lemuria, how it feels like home to me. And then you've got the Palladians, and they're the super good-looking ones. You see them walk through the bar, and they've got something magic in their eyes. They're confident and assertive. They're spunky. They're the entrepreneurs. They're savvy, and they yeah. So you'll start to see these spiritually attuned, awakened beings a lot more with them, and you'll start to connect, and you'll realize that, well, that's my crew. Like, they're people I really resonate with. They're people that I can ask questions of because they understand your sensitivity, especially, you know, Lemuria. They understand the softness of your heart, and so they know how to assimilate and discern information that you can digest and absorb. So anything else I want to? Oh, there's so much, and so let's leave it there. And so enjoy the facilitated activation with Glyn Thomas, for those of you who are joining him in his Activate Your Light group. I've known Glyn for a while. I know he's pure heart, and there's a lot of healers and light workers out there sharing messages, and I've had them on pedestals for most of my life, and everything they say has been verbatim, and I've taken it in. But the truth was, it wasn't my truth, and I wasn't speaking up, and I was just using their information as that's how it is. But, you know, you all have information. It's about polishing up the gifts, and being the best version of yourself, and having compassion moving forward. This is not about exhaustion. This is not about, so if you're feeling all that stuff and that heaviness, then it's really, you've got to use these tools. You've got to use frequency therapy. You've got to use these greens. You've got to use zeolites, and you've got to use these tools and get your environment sorted. And if that's a mad rush to get that done today, then do it today. But definitely take the time, and rather than react to and respond to people, just go, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So just look after your immune system, and there's nothing to be concerned about, and really think about the food that you're putting in your body, and is it just habit, or do you need that? I hear that all the time. I need it. Do you?